Gem Collectors with Shawn. Huh? Have you been as looking forward to this show as I have been? I am that Shawn. Been here for nigh on 7 years doing the podcast. 9 more years doing the live show here at Gem Shopping Network. And before I go anywhere else, sometimes I often forget that there's a large audience out there that isn't fully aware that this show is completely connected to the Gem Shopping Network, which means when you buy something from this show, you get the entire support of a major company, 24/7, specializing in selling fine jewelry, amazing pieces, but here in the corner, and I do mean in the corner, locked away, tucked away in the bottom part of a beautiful modern studio, lies my wonderful little Adobe, and I get to sit here and espouse upon and show all of you my hobby for the last 2 years now, and loving it, just living out my hobby and getting to share it now, all those years of knowledge, getting to share those knowledge. And as someone very eloquently said, 15, 16 years ago now, when within a couple months of me having started here, it's like, wow, normally I look at Gem Shopping, I'm quoting them, Gem Shopping Network as a show and sell network, but you make it seem more like show and tell. Never forgotten that. That's when you used to, you would tell the sales reps any messages, and they would hand write the message, and it would actually get hand delivered to me on the set, so I could respond to them, of course, in real time, since we are a live show then. So I am thrilled to still get to represent the little niche part that started it all, and that was the founder's love of gems and minerals and rocks and fossils, and one thing led to another, and here we are. So full support of Gem Shopping means you can return anything. Yes, it doesn't matter. You have a gracious 30-day return policy. I had to think, because I could probably count the number of returns, I kid you not, in 7 years, still on one hand. Still on one hand, which is, well, tells me everyone loves what they purchase, and that's what it's all about. So always consider that it's not just me, it is the full support of the network behind you, and that's why you can order anything you want 24/7. You can go and look at the shows in the past and look up those numbers and ask to see if I have those items in stock. Many times we'll show something and we may show it again a few weeks later, and after that it gets put up for could be a long time, or best place, taken back to the house, where it's our living personal museum. Not that everything's museum quality, but certainly to us it's our, as soon as we walk in the door, our shoulders just drop, Ravens in mind, as we're in our castle. And if you can picture a castle, whereas there's not a line of sight to look where you would not see a rock, mineral, gem, and that includes as soon as you get out the car door. I was, due to some of the HOA pressure put upon me, had to pressure wash my driveway. And so once I started, again, I think I referenced how satisfying that is, because you get instant gratification. That dirty slime just gets all instantly washed off. So in doing that, see, there's a point to this, and it all centers around rocks and minerals. I had to go along the walkway and the flower gardens, and they, of course, they're all lined in our extra rocks, our outdoor rocks, so to speak. And so I was getting a pressure washer. So and I haven't pressure washed, the last time was like 4 years ago. So definitely a needed chore. And as I was doing it, I was able to notice again and remember just amazingly incredible specimens that we have outside, including, I would love to bring it in here. I don't know what else to do with this, the most outstanding and finest large cavity geotype with Lacucci coral specimen. And so I'd probably sell it. It has some weight to it, but got to pressure wash everything and get to see everything all bright. And my marble from Jasper, which was, of course, Pickens County for a long time was like the marble capital of the South, and a lot of the marbles came from that you see for the courthouses, for government buildings, for capitals. A lot of that marble coming straight from what is about 20 minutes away from me. I am able to access marble that had fallen out of trucks and all alongside a stream and back in the woods. And I brought that material home and pressure washed it up, and wow, it gleams white. It's some amazing, amazing stuff. So yeah, a lot of fun things to do around where I live when I can get out and do it. And I was actually telling Raven, because we were watching a movie, and it was about an old mine shaft. And they were talking about, they had gotten trapped and were afraid of trying to find their way out, and they were following the flow of air passage because, of course, mine shafts needed air vents cut into them. And I found and noticed a unusual berm made up against the mountain, and it just didn't seem quite natural. So I got out of my truck, I walked up and over the berm, and I remember anything done 100 years ago, trees, everything is going to overgrow everything. So you kind of have to have an eye to notice what's natural. And as soon as I topped that berm and looked down, there was a really nice, about 2 foot across, concrete pipe going straight down into the ground, and there was a nice built-in metal ladder that went down into it. The air pressure coming up out of that vent hole, it was so strong. You know, if I put my head over it, my hair would have been just being blown straight up. And of course I did. Making sure to take my glasses off, because if they went down there, they would really give me an excuse to have to go down that hole, which I am still planning on doing, but I didn't have a second person with me, so I don't do that kind of stuff, that stupid of stuff. But it was certainly a safe enough vent. You know, I say that vent access because some, you know, in the olden days, it was just as narrow as they could punch a shaft through to the outside world. To bring air into the back of mines, and it wasn't anything certainly safe that they built, but this was very safe. So anyway, it was just neat to see that some of my old mining instincts were right, and I could find the back ways into some of these places. Of course, security and safety being the foremost and most important. Okay, have a lot to get to. You know me, I can tangent off on so many different things because my head just swirls, and all it swirls with is rocks and minerals and gems and the beauty of it all. And so yeah, pretty cool. You know, if you want to see, again, remember, beautiful fine high-end jewelry, including a red diamond that was sold recently here at Gem Shopping Network. Yep, even a red diamond. And yes, it was well into 6 figures, and over half a carat, which is absolutely huge. So you never know what you're going to find. If you want the affordable, all-around fun, Mother Earth ground up kind of items, this is the place to come. If you want to see what is made out of a lot of these items and turned into beautiful fine jewelry, then just go to the Gem Shopping Network, 24/7 access on the internet, on your cable network, on Well, you guys know more about all that streaming stuff and how to find us than even I do. So, okay, so let's get started. The 2 questions we had from the trivia last week were these. So in every show that we can, we do trivia at the end, and it is worth playing. Many, many neat, unusual items and valuable items have been given away for the winners. Okay, so we have question number 1 from last week was, what unique element sets pozzotai? A couple different ways to pronounce that, depending on just how Italian you are. But pretty much his name was Pizzotta, and then add an "ite" to it, so however that might turn out. So what unique element sets pozzotai apart from other members of the beryl family? Of course, members of the beryl family would be morganite, aquamarine, emerald, and this very unique one recently discovered only in 2002, which is kind of really recent. So, answer to that unusual element, cesium. And believe me, that is a very unique element at any given time, let alone to be in a member of the beryl family. Question number 2 was, what name is given to a crystal with well-defined shape and form for its type, unconstrained by surrounding minerals or other like crystals? So what name is given to a crystal with well-defined shape and form for its type unconstrained by adjacent minerals? Answer being a euhedral crystal, a euhedral. And kind of the opposite of that is anhedral, which means kind of a distorted crystal, non-conforming crystal. How's that? Okay, let's start off. Cindy in Pennsylvania says, hello, Rock family. I will take every item on the show today. That's Cindy about every week. That was Cindy every week. She threw me off because, again, I printed this out in color ink for the first time so I could see those green shamrocks. So Miss Cindy again said, hello, Rock family, loved the show. Loved the black jade opal ring, which was given to me by Asa. It is gorgeous. A wee bit Irish myself. O'Carroll was my father's clan name before they crossed the ocean. Yeah, I would say that qualifies you to be Irish by name alone. Trivia, getting both answers right, cesium and euhedral. Look forward to next week. See you all then. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania with shamrocks. Miss Gabby, and I don't know why this, look at this. Look at Miss Gabby's name came out in big green letters. I didn't even try. I don't even know how it made it green. So, sounds like a good lucky omen to me. Miss Gabby says, we've been on a roll, so thought my greeting this week would be Happy Monday, everyone. Some very rare, cool, and interesting gems on the show this week. An eye-clean, beautiful gemstone is hard to beat. But there is nothing more interesting and fun than looking inside and exploring one that may be not quite as perfect. I guess Miss Barber gets credit for this week's trivia questions, answers being cesium and euhedral. Thank you both for the lesson. As always, my best to you all, Miss Gabby. Yeah, so I am of the type that actually likes inclusions in a stone. Diamonds, of course, it keeps the price down, and unless you can see it with a visible eye, or it cuts down on the brilliance of a diamond, then anything over a SI1 or even an SI1, you know, GIA, SI1 or better, is really, unless you want it for maybe purposes of thinking it'll be worth more later, or unless you carried around the GIA cert and told your girlfriends, you know, when they said, oh, that's a beautiful diamond, you would have to say, oh yes, it's a VVS1, or oh yes, it's internally flawless, they are never going to know. And of course, nobody, unless they were really crass, would do that. Nor does anybody walk around with a 10 power loop and grab your hand and pull it up to their face and look at a stone. So inclusions in gemstones make a bigger difference oftentimes in how it visibly looks, but the fun comes in looking at a stone with inclusions under magnification, and the higher the magnification sometimes, the more fun you can have. And what I have seen by way of other crystals inside of a crystal is stunning. You know what, I guess not all of them are going to be for sale yet, but I'm going to start bringing in some of my, if you just want to see them as we have time for fun, some of my collection of oddities when it comes to some stones. And one of them is, I just mentioned it last week and I've had it for years, but I haven't even mentioned it or said anything about it, and that's a substantial side, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 carat blue, light blue star, Ceylon sapphire, with inclusions in it. But there is, only one I've ever seen, a very distinct anhydro in one of the cabochons, and with a movable bubble, big bubble. I don't know what to do with that yet. I'll lose part of me if I let something like that go, but then again, I want to share something like that because I've enjoyed it, just having it. And it's one of those, like, you could go to a huge, giant gem show, and your goal and mission could be to find a blue star sapphire with a visible anhydro bubble that moves back and forth in a large space, because that's what this one is. So if that was your mission and you went to the world's largest gem and mineral show, which we know is out west, I don't even see how it would be possible that you would ever find one. Yeah? So anyway, we'll get to that later. All right, so Miss Gabby is right. A lot of the joy comes, just like the one I love best is a demantoid garnet, a Russian demantoid garnet. Normally we don't want inclusions in our garnets unless they, oddly enough, sometimes add value. And that would be the horsetail inclusions in a Russian demantoid. A, tells you that it is Russian. Secondly, especially under magnification, they look like horses' tails, and they're just beautiful to see, something non-linear. So growing inside a garnet, to have something curved. In other words, a lot of other inclusions are based on straight line principles of crystallization. And so to see a horsetail inclusion in a Russian demantoid, I actually have one. Mine's only about half a carat. And Raven has one, even though her birthday isn't January. She still she had to get one. She goes, I have to get one. So they're small, but they are horsetail inclusions. And being my birthstone, I had to have one, right? So I am an inclusion of the month kind of guy. Okay, Harry, good to see Harry jumping in. Hey there, Professor, and the lovely Radiant Raven, and all the cool cats at GSN, and all my fellow rockers. I have been on and off battling as far as I feel some kind of long-term yuckiness, and feeling better, but enough of that. Let's cut to the chase so I can get this sent and get to sleep, so I can get up in a few hours and start it all up again. That's right, Harry. That's how we do it. That's how we roll. So he says, to the trivia, so the newer specimen of beryl called pozzoite certainly has an oddball in the mix with cesium. You are correct. question number 2. And secondly, as you well explained, both properties regarding the outer areas and surfaces of crystal formations, and you commented on one for trivia, which, with crystals not cluttered up with other matrix or misshapen faces or unconstrained, is described as a euhedral form. Would that be good to say as far as its usage? Harry, you nailed it, man. That sounds like straight out of Webster's Dictionary or Wikipedia for an explanation of it. So well done there, my man. Anyway, God bless you richly. And as always, much love to all of you and all of our love back at you there, Mr. Harry. I also got, Harry sent me some pictures of some of his latest projects. He made up a garnet bracelet from those parcels of garnets I have sent him. He sent me a picture, faceted and cabbed. Looks amazing, amazing what he did with them. Then he cut a shield style amethyst, except shield style is not exactly. It's a custom cut version of his own style, similar to a shield style. Beautiful stone. Remember all the different rutilated pieces of rough that I have thrown in along the way or sold along the way? Well, he took one and wow, cut a dynamic gemstone out of it. Beautiful, beautiful piece. It's like, wow, if I had done all that myself, it would certainly have been more than the little bit I let the rutilated piece go for. Also, it looked like a rhodochrosite cap, that pink cabochon. I'm not sure what else. You didn't say which one that one was, but I'm thinking so. And if so, that quality rhodochrosite, I've seen, that was really nice translucent piece. And I think one of my favorites was, I think it was a really deep blue topaz. You didn't say what it was, but it looked like a blue topaz. But I loved the custom cushion cut you did on it. The pavilion looked really outstanding, and it looks like you really got some great brilliance out of it. So well done on those. Mr. Matt in Texas says, Dear Professor Shawn and Gem and Mineral family, yes. Now, if everybody remember, Matt is the one that got all 3 of the econites. The econites, of course, was that extremely rare, and the most valuable gemstone that has a radioactive signature that goes beyond being able to use it for jewelry. So, of course, in selling it, that's why I said, initially I still laugh about it when I offered one for sale years ago in the live show. I said, I have a rare gemstone. I said, I'm not going to mention what the properties are to it, but if there are any responsible collectors out there that would like to know what it is, I said, I'll be happy to showcase it for you. So the key being the word responsible. So I guess that spooked everybody off, which is fine, because if it spooked you off from it, then, if you didn't think you were going to be, fully responsible for it, then, it's not the collector I would want to sell it to. Any collector that is serious at all about what they do certainly looks up all the dangers and everything regarding what exactly they're collecting. Like, if they get a orpiment specimen or realgar specimen and, have fun holding it with their hand and looking at it, and then they get some fried chicken and they're licking their fingers and then they're dead. It wouldn't be that serious. But those are ores of arsenic. And so, yes, all those items, you just need to make sure, no matter what the rock or mineral specimen is, that you wash your hands afterwards. And of course, with me, I have all the bells and whistles to be able to test to see if there's any residual left over to some of that that stuff we've been messing with lately called econite. So what I did with the econites that he had, I might have mentioned it, but the gem tubes fit perfectly. And I had to find just the right thuya wood boxes. Fit perfectly to where the lid came down on it and completely enclosed it. And the high oil content, I think, of the thuya wood, because of course I can measure the before and after signature of how many counts per minute, just cut it down to an absolutely, completely safe level. Below, well, you could probably walk in your basement and get a higher reading from the radon in it than this was reading. So it was really, really, I thought, clever of me to come up, because he was wanting something safe to put them in, or decorative to display them in. And those thuya wood one-of-a-kind boxes were perfect for it, after me doing some work to find just the right ones with what few of them I had left. And so it was kind of fun and enjoyable. But to see them made up and displayed that way almost made me want them back, because I had never displayed them quite so elegantly. So I'll go on. They fit perfectly. All right, so I'll start over. Yes, we received the absolutely stunning faceted econite gems in your very creative tubes. They fit perfectly. I have to share that I found the added handwritten note stating, "Do not open tubes for safety," to be quite special. So I used regular gem tubes, and then I put them inside the thuya wood boxes, you know, so they were in the tube, and then they were in the wood box. And so, of course, the way this reads is, you know, here, just believe me, the stone's inside, but never open up, never open up the box, just to be enjoyed from looking through the wood. So listen to this. Handwritten note stating, and I'm not so sure when he wrote this that it was a little tongue-in-cheek from his end. Anyway, he wrote, "Do not," you know, the note stated, "Do not open tubes for safety," to be quite special. After pausing a few moments, I like this part, a few moments, not minutes, moments. After pausing a few moments, I have to confess, I did open them one at a time to view my new favorite treasures. And of course, you were to open them and supposed to open them. All the rest of that was probably legalese, blah, blah, just in case kind of thing, that to make sure that they were represented exactly as they should be, and that they were given to you exactly as they should be in a completely safe situation. Econite is the only gemstone that is not recommended for use in jewelry, because it does have that high count. But let me read on. These were exceptional stones for what they are, and the price should have been way higher. The cut and the clarity, remember, natural radiation, as in green zircon, causes a crystal to become metamixed. In other words, it becomes amorphous like an opal. It loses its crystalline structure. That breakdown often causes a stone, as in a lot of green zircons, to be cloudy and or have internal stress fractures in it. These two stones were, I'll read on. He writes, "They are stunning and even clearer, more colorful, and more amazing in person. Thanks so very much. It is a privilege to be in possession of such a rare and stunning gems and new knowledge to go with them. I can't wait for the next show and tell with my best gem collector friends one day soon over lunch. They will be surprised for sure." So he says, "I can't wait for the next show and tell with my best gem collector friends one day soon over lunch. They will be surprised for sure." Absolutely. And, you know, they're completely safe. I think I included the thing of just how many hours it would take to get what you get naturally in a year's worth of sunshine or just being outside. So, you know, a long, long time. So that's why you can, you know, pass them around, show your friends them off. They can even loop it There was a gem cutters had to cut those stones, looking at it every few moments and right up to their eye. Yeah, which is all perfectly okay. If you did it 24/7 for a living, that would be completely different. So to have something so rare, and if you've got gem collector buddies around, make them try to figure it out. You're going to hear moldavite, you're going to hear tourmaline, you're going to hear green zircon, but make them work for it. Make them work for it, because I can promise you that there is not another, there won't be a single one that'll have any idea what they are. You can even then give them hints and say the R word that it has that rare property, actually, and then see if they even can tell what it is. You know, again, it's one of those gemstones that is relatively recently discovered, and a single man is the one that recognized it as being something different. They are really rare, and as you can see, as each moment goes by and each word comes out of my mouth, I'm regretting every moment of selling them. But I'm glad to see, Matt, that I know who they went to, and I'm glad to see that you are responsible and that you got a enjoyment out of the way they were delivered to you with all the proper warnings. So he goes on to say, no worries here about the R word. I am especially comfortable with them because when I decided to start collecting such items, I knew I would want some type of special storage. We have a large lead-lined box that was retired from a pharma lab. It is large enough to hold lots of special items. For now, it holds those 2 gemstones plus 3 small pieces of trinitite. That's cool to have. Good for you. All the other specimens I received these past few weeks are also awesome and appreciated. Looking forward to seeing more fluorescent items. I have them. Live long and prosper. Matt from Shiner, Texas. And I tell you what, nothing wrong with Dr. Spot's famous line of live long and prosper, because that is a great wish for all of us. Then he has a PS that he was watching some old shows. These go back a couple of years ago, and wanted to know if I still might have had the items. A beautiful Canadian ammonite fossil, very chunky. No. And then the Anna King Civil War Bullet Eagle pendant. Possibly. It might be one of my personal ones, but I sold one of my personal bullet pendants the other weekend, so let me see. Then Matt goes on to say, I forgot to add that I am interested in and would like first crack at the anhydro star sapphire you mentioned in the show this week. Okay, so we all already have one vulture after my star, my anhydro star. So I'll bring it in. Maybe I'll bring it in and see how it looks like for y'all. Mr. Brad in Pennsylvania drops in, says, greetings to one and all, especially the Raven, Asif, the whole Rock family, and Gem Shopping crew. In answer to your question in the 3-4 show, I did receive the free Thuya Wood box / bowl. You mentioned my receiving it in time for my birthday per my email below in a previous show. Yes, I was just glad it got there in time. I went to a recurring local gem and mineral show recently where a jeweler had a tray. Everybody listen to this. This is important. Had a tray of estate amethyst in gem jars, nice size, maybe 5-carat ovals. Nice saturated color, all much the same. That's important also. 3 of them fluoresced red quite strongly. He would not sell them to me since he didn't know for sure what they really were. Maybe purple sapphires. After several shows, he still had not gotten them identified. Is there another quick, inoffensive test I can do with him present? I read about a breath test where you fog them like you do when you clean off your glasses. The fog dissipates more quickly for a sapphire than for an amethyst. Any thoughts on how to tell the difference? I'll finish and then you'll hear my thoughts. Thanks. Be well, and a gentle reminder, don't forget to wash your hands after handling specimens, especially ones that are radioactive, those that contain toxic elements, and coprolites. Coprolites are more scary than they look because, of course, it's fossilized dino dung from millions and millions of years ago. which have been washed, and really out of any of those, it's just a mental thing about the dirtiness of it. So, regarding your question about the amethyst, I still have been meaning to do an amethyst presentation. Years ago, this girl was selling to her friends, and her mom was a really good client of my jewelry store. And I said, let me see the amethyst. And her friends really trusted her and everything. And she said, look what I got. And it was about a 40-carat stone for $2 a carat. I took one look at it, looped it, and I said, this is synthetic. This is a synthetic lab-grown amethyst. And she looked at me shocked. And she knew, and through her mom, how much experience I've had in this. She goes, no, it isn't. She goes, no, it's a genuine stone. I said, no, it's not. I said, for one thing, if it was this color and this size, the minimum price would be more like $20 a carat. So the price tells you right then. I said, a dealer is not going to sell something far below wholesale, what he would ever begin to be able to pay for that stone. I said, secondly, there are no inclusions whatsoever. There are no zoning, no chevron meets, nothing that told me it was anything other than lab grade. She goes, nope, I don't believe it. And she started getting fuzzy. I said, I'll tell you what. I said, at my expense, I will send it to GIA and have it certified and looked at. And again, this was like 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Anyway, it was my expense. It was about $60, and I got back the lab report. And I meant to actually have it out and show you, but we're going to run out of time anyway. Synthetic. So when I showed her that, it's like she still didn't want to believe me. And she stormed out of my store angry. The thing about it was she was embarrassed. She was embarrassed because she was supposed to, all of her friends she'd been selling jewelry to and items, and she'd get them, and she was making a little side business on that, but had absolutely no business being in that business if you didn't know these things. And it actually caused a loss of her, not her mom, but her, which was fine, because if I tell someone, I want someone to believe me, especially after I have not just my word, you don't have to take just my word, but my word plus a lab, a well-known distinction, certification as to it would, you'd think, be enough. But sometimes people's pride, it goes greater than the person they are, put it that way. And I have no doubt that she probably went on continuing to do what she had been doing, and that was misrepresenting and selling things that shouldn't have been. Now, all that said, here's my main comments to you in regarding synthetic amethyst. What I just said was one of the primary ways. Loop it. You don't need anything to do anything that would damage the stone, especially with the dealer right there. Loop them. If none of them in all directions have no difference in zoning, have no angular, hexagonal meet points, in other words, striations in the zoning, have no inclusions. If they do have bubbles, that is a sign, not a sign that it's that it's genuine amethyst. Air bubbles would be a bad sign, and not just saying that it's lab amethyst. We're looking at glass and other things as well. But either way, bubbles you don't want. Zoning you do want, to be able to tell you that it is the real thing. The other thing, if he has several of them, is color match. If you have a number of them and they're like all the same color tone, that can only be achieved through either cutting a stone from the same crystal, from the same piece of rough, or again, they're lab grown because they shoot for a particular color zoning. Now, or color tone, and it's the dark purple, red, and blue flash, that kind of thing they think that everybody wants. It shouldn't be any problem for you to pick up each stone. I do it like this. Well, here, I'll just use a copper light because it's in front of me. So I'll take a flashlight, this flashlight in particular with me, and I will put it over the stone. Often will fit right on top of the end of that. I'll put it like that, and I will then, and you can often do it with one hand, the other hand with your loop. You can loop and look at all around it, and again, no signs of anything in it is a sign it's synthetic, lab grown. Especially the larger the stone is, the greater chance that there's going to be an inclusion or zoning or something in it. If there's nothing there, all the same color. But that is determining legitimacy without any other equipment. If you are able and have a black light, which of course that is the other geek flashlight that is always in my pocket, and are able to look for fluorescence, you're done. Red fluorescence, it's not amethyst, not genuine amethyst. Red fluorescence is often picked up when you have the presence of chrome or vanadium or a combination of. And so my other thought, if they aren't, and if he's thinking they're amethyst, possibly sapphire, there is a color change spinel that looks very much like amethyst, but use an alternate light source. And it can be xenon to your flashlight. It could be any other alternate light source. And you will get, or fluorescent and incandescent work great. And you're going to get that really strong color change. And it's the same color change in the synthetic. If you go to the Middle East, everywhere you go, Egypt, you're going to see synthetic color change alexandrites. They're color change spinels. They're synthetic spinels, and they have a strong color change. Quite impressive, actually. So if he is, and that color change is through the addition of chromium and vanadium, the same thing that gives the garnets a, like the Malaya garnets, a color change. Those two elements will often present in alexandrite itself have a lot to do with color change in a lot of different gemstones. So the fluorescence would be enough to tell you stay away from, especially if they're being sold as amethyst. If he thinks they are sapphires, then easily looking at them, they will have inclusions. Same thing, you cannot have that many stones without sapphires having inclusions in them. Zoning, inclusions, discolorations, you know, such and such. Here's the other thing, cut. If they are not native cut looking, and if they are cut very symmetrical and no off-skewed hewlets and things like that, then if they're all cut very similar, then again, rule them out. So those were the methods, you know, I used before you even get to using equipment. Cut, the clarity, the color zoning. So you can use, you know, the C's there right now. You can't go by carat weight because unless you were really good and could do specific gravity measurements on the spot, which you can't, then you can't really tell the specific gravity difference. But again, if it's synthetic quartz, go by those three. You don't need equipment. If you can use a black light, then boom, you're done. If they fluoresce, you're done. And to show what you know, most likely they're going to be a synthetic spinel if they have a color change. It won't be a synthetic sapphire. There is synthetic sapphires that have similar color changes. I've owned them. I've certified them. I've made a custom piece. I entered into the Spectrum Awards one year over a stunning platinum piece I made with a big color change, certified color change sapphire. So I'm real familiar with those. But Brad, what you are looking at, guaranteed with the fluorescence, and what you've told me is the guy doesn't want to sell them to you because he knows they're fake. Why he has them out? He'll find some other sucker that doesn't ask him, and he can sell them with a clear conscience, I guess. Okay, so little info for you there. Miss Elisa in Florida. Hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew, and Rock Family. Professor, thank you for providing the important information that you provide. I have noticed that I am viewing rocks, minerals, and gems in a totally new way. Thank you. Also, I did get the barrel thumbnail display. That was my favorite item last week. That was that stunning piece with the Goshenite, the aqua. The Goshenite had the other couple of minerals with it, and the emerald, the three together. That was an amazing deal, so I'm glad to see and know who got that. Also got the 50-carat mixed gemstone parcel. I hope to use those in a pendant I am making for my Mother's Day gift. My answer to this week's trivia, cesium and euhedral. My favorite item of the week was that stunning 3D dendritic quartz. Wow. Have a great week, everyone. Miss Elisa. Yeah, that dendritic quartz, probably one of the finest I've ever seen. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn. Hi, Professor Shawn, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Well, you'll have to wait till 2052 for another Thursday leap day to record your show. You'd be 91 and probably still not making a dent in your house of treasures. Funny. That's how old my dad was when he passed. So, yeah, don't think I'll quite make it as long as Pops. But, I'll story I'll tell you in a minute. Further about complete barrel collections, there's a medium tone Air Force blue one. Now, Barbara, I'm a military guy, so I know that color. Many may not. Everybody's seen an Air Force color uniform, they know. There's a medium tone Air Force blue one that looks like hexagonal poker chips. It was thought to be rosterite or verobavite. That's a Russian word. But Pazota said no, so the trade calls it blue alkali beryl. It also has cesium, beryllium, and lithium like Pazotite, but it's blue. We'll have to wait and see if research gets its own name in the future. Going to read Mineral Record 49, pages 563 to 572 to learn more. I have seen pictures and read about that barrel, so quite interesting. It's nice that Dr. Pazota is alive and well as curator of mineralogy at the Natural History Museum in Milan, Italy, and runs an international laboratory which cleans and repairs super high-end mineral specimens. That would be fun. And to be sure, he likes his barrels and Madagascar minerals. Fun to follow his work in the literature and on videos. As to the trivia, cesium and euhedral, guess I should opt out since these came from my comments. Yes, Barbara, I did steal your comments. But it doesn't mean you still can't compete in the trivia because you didn't actually talk about why Pazotite was so unique and rare, which is where my question lies with what element made it so unique and rare, which was the cesium. So sure, you can definitely participate. You have peach trees in bloom. We have our first crocuses. Way too early for both. Nasty surprises await. Oh well, that's climate change. Be well all, Miss Barbara in Brooklyn. My peach tree is in full magnificent bloom. It is so beautiful. But here's the other thing I noticed. I went out there and looked. The pollinators aren't out yet. So no, normally we have the bumblebees and everything buzzing around on that tree. None of it. So no pollinators, no fruit. Too early. They're not up out of the ground. Okay, so that gets us through. I'm glad to see that we had so many people participating and so many correct answers. Oh, yeah, you also, one more thing, Brad, on the test about the fog dissipating kind of thing on one versus the other. That has everything to do with the humidity in a room, the temperature of the actual specimens, the amount of moisture in your mouth that you would exhale on, the wind currents. You know, if you have moisture, you blow on it and it goes away. So for that, I have never used in any way, shape, or form because they said that you could do that between a CZ and a diamond. And I've actually seen that work between a CZ and a diamond the most effectively of anything I've heard about, of course, the fog dissipation trick. I would absolutely not totally disregard that as any kind of method in this case. So, like I said, it's simple. If you just get to looking at every amethyst that you see so you know what zoning looks like and inclusions look like, and then when you see those amethysts and turn them from every which angle, and I mean every angle, because even in a good cutter can place zoning or an inclusion up off to a corner and you may not see it unless it's turned just the right way. So that would be the key. But I can assure you, end of story. If you're able to check fluorescence and they fluoresce that bright red, they are nothing you want to mess with. And they also, without inclusions, would not be anywhere near a sapphire. But they would be synthetic spinel, most likely. Okay, so that leaves us to the winner of the trivia. So all like winners, we assign a number to the name and then draw that number. And this week, the winner is Brad. Wouldn't you know? Brad, congratulations. Let's show Brad what he won. Look at this. These were my personal specimens, especially for educational purposes, because of the uniqueness to the inclusions in here. There are goethite inclusions that are the classic type inclusions with the broom straw type of spray. Now, this was, I got these in an estate, and this was somebody's arrow. I couldn't really see, it might be underneath the ink, exactly what they were trying to cover up or trying to point to. Whether it was maybe an hydro bubble, I didn't really see that offhand, but something to look at. Additionally, I also think about petroleum too in some of these. This is a stunning piece as well, and I will show you these when I can zoom in on them for you. Look at this. Okay, as promised, look at those. They look like a, well, upside down, broom straw. And that is so many people think it's, hematite or lepidocrocite. Look at in here. I have used these as educational pieces because of how detailed. Look at that. Look at those inclusions, and you can see how amazing that broom straw look is. Now, someone made this marker when I got this, and you can see the arrow right there. It's pointing to something important. I am not sure exactly what it is, but I'm going to leave it up to the lucky winner to see if it's an anhydro or a petroleum inclusion. All right, and then again, here is some more of those. Some are a reddish hint. Doesn't mean they're hematite. Goethite can be a reddish hint in color as well. And there's also little rectangular cube inclusions, and I am thinking that they may, look, here's the other one. I'm not sure exactly what they are. They may be calcite type of inclusions, but you're gonna see those little blocks and wonder what they are, just as I wondered as well. Here's the other one, and let me turn this in the way that we might be able to see something, which is, let's look at it right like this. So you can see right down into the citrine on the left-hand side there, a couple more of those type of inclusions. And that's why I said this is great for a study or educational piece. Pass it around at your gem and mineral club to show people what really goethite looks like when it is in citrine. And it is no sign that it is necessarily has anything to do with if citrine has been heated, from amethyst or not. because it can still have that form, and heating it doesn't destroy it. Look at those. So anyway, this is something you don't normally find unless it's in a big specimen, and then it's hard to tote that around for an educational purpose. So anyway, congratulations on those. Look at that, a silver dish. Well, guess what? Have you seen what silver and gold have been doing lately? They are going through the roof, and price-wise, gold, wow. So this is a good time to sell it inexpensively. So here's my dilemma with this. So I face scrapping this and getting X number of dollars for it, or I sell it for just a few dollars more, and it makes it worthwhile for me just to let all of you guys have it. And at any time, the value of the silver is almost going to be the total value of what I'm asking for this piece, which is only $78. Only $78. It is absolutely estate antique. There's some, of course, original patina, which is going to be down in between some of the design. Now, this also is marked. Let me find it right here. So you have, of course, always upside down. You have your sterling silver mark right there, and it is numbered. Repose. So that's how these designs are often made. They will take it and put it over everything from shellac or wax or lead, depending on what they're doing, and they will hammer it from the inside. As you can see how it looks from this direction, the roses, and how they come out, look at that, from that direction. It is really a lost art anymore, because imagine the time that would take to make. This is old, no telling how old, but it could be, anywhere from 60 years to 80 years or so, or maybe older. But anyway, price $78. Only $78, and what a cool candy dish. If you're into flowers with that heart, wow, neat display. Would have been a great gift any time of the year, but of course at Valentine's to give silver roses, huh? How about that? Think out of the box for the different ideas. It's not just a candy dish or whatever else you might use it for. It can be part of a larger, wonderful, thought-out gift to where, let's say you give a dozen roses, the roses die, but it was a special occasion. What do? You take the rose petals, and then as they dry, you put them in the rose dish, huh? And I'm a guy, and I'm thinking like that. So, again, just tilt your head a little bit, and you can come up with other creative gifts, creative ideas to do with unusual gifts like this. So now, let me show you. And of course, so we go from something like the inclusions to silver, then to look at this item 1167024. I am talking about the good stuff. Look at this. Here is the good stuff, and you get the suspension box with it. Look at that. Look at those. Those are, yeah, that's Kelly green. That's Kelly green. If my grass would look like that, I'd call it Kelly green. It might be a little, let me see if I can take these off just to give you one last little look at these, because this color for emerald is exquisite, and one of the most valuable colors in emerald there is, regardless of origin. So, yeah, Latif's taking a look at these. These all match at 2.5 millimeters, and wow. The nice thing is they're not all totally clean. You know why I say the nice thing is? Because that tells you still that they're an emerald, because you could look at these and think, gee, really? Are they emeralds? Are they Saberites, you can also tell by the cutting. But look at that. And they are, I'll admit, they're native cuts. So you get some different shapes, different deeper pavilions than others, but still that color stands strong. And for clarity, these are still very clean in the world of emeralds, as you know. Look at that. Look at those guys. So anyway, I have amazing deals. We don't have to talk about them any longer when I'm only trying to sell you something that's $24. Yep, $24. Only one of the parcel, as all you guys know. Most everything I ever have are one-of-a-kind items. So if you try to get in on thinking that there's a second piece, nope. Item 1166924. Now, from time to time, I will still bring out an exceptional type of garnet or crystal I like, just to share with everybody, because I can't keep it all. I can't use it all, even though this is one of the smartest buys I ever did, was the Japanese rainbow iridescent garnet a long time ago. You know, the mine was totally, it was like basically found around 04. And by 05, the village elders closed it down due to the number of people that were just showing up mining at this site. Of course, wouldn't you? Look at that. Here is a stunning crystal that looks like it's been faceted, but it's based along the dodecahedron crystal shape. And look at that. Look at all these other different faces depending on the angles you turn them. And remember, we already learned, so this goes with our learning, that the color stems from two types of garnet, the andradite and the slightly chemically different grossular. Look at that color. And it is the difference in the lamellar layering of those two when light passes through them, creating a dispersion. Look at all the colors in this. And again, you can look at it each day, and unless you hit a particular face at a particular angle, look at that one little thin one, and look at the color there. You're going to get a different look. It is going to dazzle you. Look at that bright yellow. And then there, I know, hold on, wait. There was a angle that was, okay, you saw that bright yellow? Wait a second now, let me show you. Let me get this same face turned. Look at the blue on that. So it went from bright yellow to blue. And then here we go. There is an angle that it was the complete rainbow of colors from one end of the prism scale to the other. And look at that. And it makes it so easy to just gaze upon them endlessly. You know, and this is the case with these. I'm not finding that beautiful rainbow display at the moment, but it's there. It's there. You just have to catch the right angle at the right time with the right light, and wow, you have something. So anyway, I made this at a price so that everybody can afford one, because I was fortunate enough to be able to have a collection of these that I want everyone, look at that, within reason to be able to have one. And basically it is a birthday gift, since it's my birthstone, from me to all of you. Look at that, yellow on one side, blue on another, and bright chartreuse yellow on another, and on and on. So this one, a exceptional crystal that I'm going to offer for only $48. And it is actually marked it on the back as a sale price item, $48. Okay, now, the only thing about wrapping things up so well is it takes so long to clean them up. Look at that, and we're popping across the table, and why I count them. Because that's what can happen, as we all have been embarrassed at one time or another by dropping stones in front of the owner of them. And yeah, you only do that once though. Okay, look at this next deal. I have item 1166824. 1166824. I have never offered an opportunity like this next batch of goodies. And this is, I don't know, wow. Check this out. Okay, so first, I'm just going to take these out real quick. This is part of the batch. I have 4 carved jade pagodas. Don't ask me why. I've been collecting this stuff for over 50 years. And so this is nephrite jade. They're drilled at the top. One even has a little ring in it. If it's gold, I want it back. No. And they match, you know, for size. So you could do whatever, hang them off of a necklace or put them on a charm bracelet. Jade's very durable. You can, you know, okay, let me finish this, because for the cost that you're going to have in them, you can do all kinds of things with them you normally wouldn't. Look at the rest of this parcel. As part of the parcel deal, here's the rest of it. Look at this. Look at this. All this from a high quality. Look at that. My goodness. That's a fine, it's even drilled. That is a really fine piece of nephrite now that I'm looking at this. Wow, yeah, that is a fine piece of nephrite. Okay, maybe I'll take that one back. Little piece of carved bamboo. This, not sure what that was, but I had to make sure the right finger was the one poking out of there. But here's what I saw. And remember, this stuff is, oh, let's see, we got a ring. It has been over decades of time. So if, there's no telling, look at that, what it meant to someone at some point. Beads, there is innumerable, hold on, I've just got to do it because you can't see it otherwise. Innumerable different type of items. This, okay, see that's already made to where you can use this other piece to create a full concept ring. You can also use this and just attach a silver frame to the end of each end and put it in, so you have a jade center. Then you have jade beads. You have all these cabochons. You have a plethora of material to work with. And so let me put these back. Okay, so, oh, wait, there was one more of those I wanted to show you. So there's 45 carats in the pagodas, 100 and, I don't know, what does that say, 68 carats or something? 203 carat total weight in everything. Let's see, this was it. This was the other that was a really beautiful, beautiful stone. Look at that. Look at that. All right, so you can have the entire batch for $48. Only $48 for it all. And that is a lot of jade when you get down to thinking about it. Okay, now I have a mess. Now I got to clean it up. We'll be right back. Now, back in the 50s and 60s, this would have been something you would have seen all the time. Coasters, silver coasters. These, especially this particular set by Frank Whiting and Company, a very well-known silver manufacturer, made a good bit of these. But in researching these, the most I saw that you could get was a set of 2. A set of 2. I did not see anywhere available a set of 4. Well, a 4, of course, unless you're just having a glass of lemonade with a friend, I mean, you know, 4 is a much more appropriate number to have, but they get broken. They're glass. They're glass. They get broken. So many times the original set of 4 coasters are no more. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. With coasters, of course, all you have to do is, you know, even though they're really thick.
Isn't that more a saucer?
A saucer?
You put liquid in there so you can drink?
You could. It could be a saucer. It could be a very fancy saucer for your cat. A spoiled cat would probably appreciate that. Exactly. Now here's.
A little bit of silk in its belly.
Here's the thing about patina. Some people really like it, and others want to polish off every bit they see. I think I told you the story of this really sharp estate lady I did business with a couple decades ago, and she's supposed to know, in her own mind at least, everything about sterling silver. She took off. I had a amazing natural patina cigarette case, okay, you know, that were really popular back in the day, and now they're just very collectible. She took it and she knew better, but she had a client that thought that the client would like to see it polished more than the way it was tarnished. And so she, on her own, opted to strip off 100 years of natural oxidation that would only take another 100 years to build up when she brought them back, because then she didn't even sell them. I was furious. Needless to say, I never did business with her again. She could never take anything out of my store, and I insulted her because she knew better. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was so angry. The girls that worked for me at the jewelry store I had at the time, the employees, they just said, Shawn, just go to the back. Just go to the back. We'll take care of this. Yeah, go back in my closet. Exactly. I'm better looking at fluorescent rocks than looking at stuff like this. All right, so here we go. As you can see, I have left the natural patina on it because let it be whoever gets its choice.
There's cat hair.
Oh no, there is cat hair. I have been spoiling my cat. Okay, awesome. Now you really put me on the spot. Okay, everybody, I am going to be, you know, we do have a cat. And you know what? The cat was on the bed when I was doing these. Asif, you have totally embarrassed me. I will never be able to show my face again.
Just connected to things, man.
Okay, here's the connection. Here's the connection. These are made from a rare type of pattern from a cat's foot imprint. Designed specifically for cat coprolites. You guys have made me do it. You have made me do it. I have become this person that is now your Frankenstein. Or is that Frankensteinite?
It's a 60s litter box. That's what it is.
A 60s litter box. You guys, you know, see what I have to work with, everybody out there. This is what I have to work with. Okay, well, forget the presentation. They're cat drinking bowls, and I've got 4. So if you got 4 kitties at home that insist on matching bowls, I have just the thing for them.
That's beautiful.
So listen, if you don't like the natural patina that I left on there, I mean, I know that we've had those at least 30, 40 years, so, and beyond. Anyway, you can take a polishing cloth, and you can see it's easy. You can just, while you're watching TV, take a polishing cloth, and don't upset your cat. Yeah, don't upset your cat too much. If you remove the patina, you might want to ask the cat first. But again, this patina took decades to build up, and only moments to clean. Oh no! Oh, what do we? Oh, here we go. Demo. Live action demo right here. You only find it here at Gem Collectors with Shawn, where we demo what we sell. There it is. There it is, right there. We demo what we sell. We just don't have a cat that will. What logo? What logo? Oh, are we? Oh, here we go. I didn't even turn it the right way. Here. Here. That's how it all ties together. There we go. The cat litter box along with the drinking bowl and the gem shopping cup. Yep.
No cup included.
Yeah, no cup included because we're working that close on price. Speaking of price, on the 4, $58. I know, all that for $58. You know, I know. So I thought about it. If I actually busted all that glass out, I bet there's more than $58 worth of silver there. That's what the chief's saying. I'm a fool. But you guys knew that. All right, let me see if I can get back on track here. Let's put away the kitty bowls, and let's get down to some real jewelry. Item 1167324. Now, next, Asif is going to be telling me that this would fit perfectly around the cat's neck. Now, if I see any cat, not to strangle it, if I see any cat hair on this, that's it. I'm going away. Okay, so I'm going to remove these while I put this back here. Oops, not here. That's it, because look at this. What if you did have a cat named what this material is? Look at this. Look at this. It is actually 9 inches long. It will fit your cat. Look at that. Now that is stunning. True story. Brazilian morganite. And look at the color aquamarine. Look at these. And then also magnetic clasps. So a little hint on magnetic clasps. You do not pull them apart. You slide them sideways to get them open. This is a very strong magnet. You know, Shawn would know. So, bam. Now, let me show you something else. Look what I discovered, and on many of these, they have cat's eyes. As I thought the aquas, some of the aquas might, some of the morganites, but I didn't even check the morganites. These are genuine, natural color. And look at how rich the blue is. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at it. There's a cat's eye right there. Uh-huh. It goes perfect. See the tie-in? Cat's eye and a cat, a necklace for your kitty.
There you go.
And so the morganites, look at the richness of the color. Oh, here, look, see. Let me see. There's a little chatoyancy. There's a cat's eye going there. No, yeah, this is 9 inches. It would absolutely fit a cat. And it's with the magnetic clasp also. Good. Okay, I counted 3. 1, 2, 3. I remember the third bead.
That one had it.
Oh, did it?
Right,
Did it?
No, that one.
This one.
Yeah.
Yep, that I remember. There. Yo, you're right. I had it turned the wrong way. Wow, look at that. Now it should be directly opposite another one. Yep, there it is, directly on the opposite side, which is the way it would naturally be. Wow, if there's a cat's eye morganite, I'm keeping it because that's look at that, a real rarity. Okay, so not only do you get that necklace, but, okay, necklace. I say that because it seems so long. You could easily restring this. Now, if you need a little extra room, this is a perfect length. But for those of you that can restring, look at this. These are all extras. These are all extras. And so there's 50 carats of extra beads, while there is 150 carats of, I think I had that info in there. 150 carats in the bracelet, 50 carats of extra beads that you can either add to them, make some different pattern. You can restring this into a necklace just using the barrel part. Well, anybody that strings, you know, you can do a little bit of everything with anything. So, all right, now let me take these out and away. Let me give you the price because look at the quality of those. This is an oldie but goodie. This went, I remember in the live show. So it's been over 7 years ago when I was had some of these and was offering them for sale. Exceptional opportunity now, because all these years later, and it is less than what I had offered it before for. So you can get anything you want at Alice's. Oh, never mind, especially since I don't sing. Okay, here we go, $77. $77. Arlo Guthrie, great song. Beautiful, beautiful. The richness in both colors. It's not like they're light pink. And here, oh, here is the other thing. I get so excited. On the educational end, it shows you what a natural color aqua can look like. Now these natural color also, but heat treating this one would make it blue. Look at the pinks for morganite. You have a beautiful, very valuable color pink. Then you have the peachy pinks that you've been seeing in the market lately. Well, just for your information, the market views this color pink as more valuable. So how about that? Didn't expect to see that after looking at some cat bowls, did you? Okay, now, oh, so much more to do. Now, getting back here. Oh yeah, let's look at this. 1166724. I am going to show you, especially since we talked about euhedral and you learned about that and whatnot, let me show you a crystal of goshenite. Look at this. Since we see how I'm tying this in, this is beryl, which is aqua and morganite, right? Well, how about clear beryl, colorless beryl? Look at that. That's about as colorless you can get. I actually had to bring in my special true white paper just to show you how colorless this item is. And with goshenite is actually one of the rarest beryls there is. Pardon. Look at that. It almost disappears. If it was not for the shoral crystals, so look at this little power-packed crystal. Goshenite, shoral tourmaline. Then look at this. We have what is commonly seen and found, feldspar, and then mica. One little dab of mica there, and you can see the reflection off the mica. So basically, this was is like that piece that had the 3 different crystals in it, except in even a smaller way. It has the big goshenite with the 3 other ones found on it. Here's the other, really, probably the neatest thing about it. Okay, so for one, of course, you see that great hexagonal symmetry. But looking down through the middle, if you can see, look at the clarity. It would be completely facet grade if it did not have a fadden, what looks like what would be fadden quartz, or a thread going right down through the middle. Look at that, you can see that. And that's real unusual. I think if you actually cut this in a cabochon, there's a good chance it would probably cut a cat's eye. But I would never cut this up if it was mine, and why I haven't, because it is, look at that. That is rare. That is just rare to find a crystal. And that's why I've had it. Look at that. That's amazing. For all this time, as part of my collection, and why, you know, now I want to pass on and share some of these other items, because you've seen me with more than one goshenite. And I went to looking for some inventory in the house, which Miss Barbara, of course, commented about my inventory. So I went to looking, and I opened this one particular door that we have stuff stored in, and sometimes you can get in the door, sometimes you can't. I was able to cracked the door open, and I did no more than sit on my knees, and I got no further than halfway in the door, and I found another bag of amazing new items to show you. And that's as simple as it was. You know, I had a smile, and then I had a laugh, and then I actually felt joy, which has been kind of scarce to come by at times lately, but the sense of joy of having so many rocks and mineral specimens around me, that really probably brings Raven and I more joy in our life right now than anything else, is to have that plethora, is to have, you know, to sell 4,000 items and not feel like you lost your collection. Of course, we know we have, especially many of our other bigger, beautiful items, but we know they're all going to a wonderful home. But it's not like I sold the last of the wonderful specimens. I didn't get in the door. Didn't get in the door. And there was like a couple of little bags, a couple other things, and everything I opened up had rocks I had not seen in a long time. Oh, I remember this. Some I didn't remember at all. Which means like, okay, I hadn't seen that in a while. Item number 11.
What's the price on this?
Oh, no, I did not. I don't think I wanted to sell it. So, an unbelievable deal, $38. $38 on that. Wow, that is crazy. Yeah, because I'll never come across another one for $38. Look at how white that is. And the only thing that's showing up any yellow is the reflection off of those inclusions on the side. Okay. All right, let's look at then item 116, 6624. And we're going to bring in, look at this guy, the dark side. The dark side. But we all have one. Skulls. And I know several of you out there collect them. Here is a set ready to go of all three. You have your Brazilian quartz with some fodden threads in that as well. What is that? If I see that that's some kind of cool inclusion, I have the right to take it back. I don't know what that is. If that's some, I don't know. I don't want to know. Look at this, orbicular jasper. Now, I kind of made that name up because it can go by other names. Some people might even call it ocean jasper. It is from Madagascar. It looks very similar to Madagascar, which is a form of orbicular jasper in its own way. So, technically, yes. Here's the neat thing, though. Remember I told you how different harnesses or different materials polish differently? If you run your finger over this guy's forehead, you can actually feel these high polished areas. Look, see these hot? They are protruding because the rest of the material was softer than these associated orbicular areas, because these are the ones that are made out of the real silica. The rest is going to be composite of silica and other material, which will cut and polish. So it'll undercut, leaving the high polished points higher up, and the rest more in relief. That's a neat piece of jasper. And then, of course, malachite. Malachite. So, three wonderful skulls right there. And here is when you break it down into price per skull. It's only $34, meaning only about $11 a skull. Only about $11 a skull on that. And that, when you think about $11 and what it takes to carve and the material, again, another wonderful opportunity. And with having three of them, again, one skull on a shelf or display, you know, okay, that looks okay. But when you have a grouping like that, I think we can all agree that that is a much more attractive way to display something. Okay, now, let me see if I can keep moving here before I have to stop. Okay. All right, here we go. item number 115-5524. This is, I don't know. This is, yeah. Does that tell you a lot? This is going to be a regret, along with some of those others I had that I've already sold. But, yeah. But, I know. This is so Lateef didn't get to see some of these others that I had sold when they were like that, and he's going to get to see this. He remembers the day when we were selling some of these amazing pieces. Well, I have a couple left. Look at this. So manifestation quartz is where quartz grows around another crystal of quartz. Look at these two crystals. And at each angle, you can kind of get a different idea of exactly what's going on. So look at that crystal, and it seems just poised right. It looks like just a barely little gap between the two with that other crystal behind it. But you can look at that termination from above on that. Here is, look at that. I love that double polish with the domed. Well, it could be back or front, depending on which way you want to display it. These pieces, I don't know, they're hard to find anymore, and especially to find them affordable. And again, really old stock, so I don't even know how they would be priced out now. So I am just winging it, and let's go ahead and make this one, how about a $28. That would be such a wonderful gift to give to someone that did not have anything like that. And yeah, not a, without breaking the bank, because some of that manifestation stuff can really be expensive. Now, let me show you. I have, again, a couple more very beautiful collector pieces of quartz. 115-6424. Look at this. Now, this stone is actually a hardness of 7.5 to an 8. It is often called the blue jean stone because of its color. It is, let me get this positioned right so I can show you. Well, let's just, I have, wow, look at this. Okay. Demortierite, those stunning blue crystals. Now, I think I have this upside down, so we'll look at it first this way. Look at the little irises protruding from this piece. Demortierite, again, it's one of those other inclusions in quartz, but to me, the contrast of colors makes it one of the most attractive of them all because of the spray effect. There we go. Now you can start to see the spray effect that makes this so attractive and so desirable. There was a original location, a place called Aracuaí, and it's not really a Portuguese word versus more of a indigenous word, and I had to talk with the Portuguese dealer multiple times. I asked him how to pronounce that word, and that's why I finally got it down, because it is lots of vowels, A-R-U-C-A-R. Anyway, Aracuaí was one location it comes from. The Vaca Muerta quarry is another. And Vaca Muerta, I think, well, in Spanish, close enough, would mean like dead cow quarry. So maybe in Portuguese, it means something different. But look at that spray emanating from the bottom, coming up through the top. Those are probably other unique crystals of some kind. Yeah, I see other things left to be discovered in there. You can see a lot of individual crystals along this side as I tilt it. So yeah, have fun with that, because this is a collector's piece and a chance to get in on something like that for a price of, ready, set, how about this? $24. $24. Okay, that's, now let me show you. 115, 6524. This is, again, so that everyone can have a representation and afford something rare and unique. I want to make sure I have it for everybody. Look at this. Look at this one. Simply outstanding. Now let me bring it right up to here and backlight it a little bit. And then as, are we all the way in? Do I need to get out my, yeah, because I got the light here. I want to show you exactly what's going on in this, because the close-up shots sometimes are the ones that are just outstanding. And you can see, as I rotate this, and you can see the different angles, that these crystals come in from both sides, leaving a more open area in the middle. It is a nature's painting. So up against the black, you can see the look there. And as I backlight it this way a little bit, you can see how much more is happening. So most of the fun, of course, is in you exploring it. I don't want to take all that fun from you. I want to make sure I make the price right so that you do enjoy it. And that would be making this even less than the inexpensive price I already had, $16. Only $16 on that. And that is from a long time ago when I got that. So I have no idea current kind of pricing. Now, I want to feature another rarity, 115-7124. 115-7124, Helolite. Helolite in quartz. Helolite was first discovered, of course, named after Gila, Arizona, from a copper deposit, and it is known for, look at that, it's exquisite formation of radial crystals. Look at that. Look at the green one. And as I turn it, it illuminates others. Now let me get out this for a moment so you can get a really good look at exactly what we're looking at. And this, look at that, would make any collector envious if he does not have one. Let me see, where am I going with this? Look at the blue ones. They're all the same mineral, just the slight different variations in composition make up for the differences. Look at that. But I love the radial pattern emanating from the middle. That is so cool. That is unlike any other that I've seen for inclusions in quartz that will give you that look. This is a faceted stone, mostly, and it's drilled. If you're wondering what that black looking thing was, yeah, it's drilled. Run a wire through there, you're good to go. Look at even on the sides of this, how it looks. That is stunning. I am fortunate to have a few of these that I've offered. Here is one, and yeah. Here is you can see the size of it relative to the tweezers and the cut. I love the freeform cut. Yeah, look at that. Look at the from the side of it even. So if you did nothing else with it but showed it off like that, you would have a real prize. So this guy. It is actually from Paraíba, Brazil. And they often call it the Paraíba stone because of the colors of the helolite matching colors of Paraíba as well. Remember, pool water blue and seawater green? I'll never forget them. They're drilled, which would be difficult enough. They had to use probably a special ultrasonic drill to be able to do that. Price on this guy, why not? Let's make it special at only $34. $34. Okay, I need to put up a few of these things. I'll be right back. I shouldn't do this, and I've held off doing it, but since I showcased that Goshenite crystal, I had a lot of these parcels, and I was down to 2 of them, and I decided to keep them for myself. How selfish of me, right? Well, for projects. I thought, you know, when's it going to be? When are you going to do it? So anyway, I saved a few stones, and I'm offering the rest for sale. Rare. These 1980s, 1970s, I can trace their origins back to that period of time. Look at how colorless they are. These are native cut, so that's why you see, look at how deep that pavilion is versus that one. That's one way you can tell they're native cut. So you get all these kind of different shapes, but doesn't matter. You have colorless, faceted Goshenite that would be difficult to even find now. Wow, look at these. And I only have 2 parcels left. So there's the one parcel, and I won't dump these out, but there. I'll put them right up against those. You can see that there's no difference in shading or color. Only have the 2, and they're also calibrated in size. These are 5-carat parcels. They're 6x4s, 12 stones to a parcel. And ridiculously enough, I am going to offer those. I mean, this is going to be once kind of in a lifetime chance for you to get something like this in Goshenite. No one has Goshenite. It's not available. It's not available to cut. This is really old. So anyway, 5 carats. Wow, $28 a parcel. $28 a parcel. I only have 2 parcels left of it, and so that is, when they're gone kind of deal. And I had quite a few of them to start, and now not so many, down to the 2. And I probably will end up regretting even selling those because, for one, they're faceted. For 2, where am I going to get another? Let me show you item number 1167124. So, in my travels over decades, I have come across so many things that I put things and set them aside and don't. Anyway, without full accounting of where everything is, and I love it. We actually love it. We actually love it when we pull out a bag and it has rocks and minerals in it, and we sit down like 2 little kids and go over it like we had just bought a brand new bag of rocks and minerals. And when you have that kind of a collection, it's something to cherish, and it's something that gives me pride, and it's something, though, I found out I cannot eat or pay the mortgage with it. So when you have enough of that kind of item, it's time that you re-look at what you have and then decide to share it with all of you. One of those parcels I am talking about is a deal on star rubies. And let me show you. I have them in a suspension box for right now. I'm just kind of showing them. You can't really see what's going on yet through the suspension box by way of, actually, let me use this and kind of cut in front of the part of the camera there. Let me cut this off, and let me see if I can. Okay, no, this is that blue light window there that doesn't work. Okay, let me do this. Put this on, leave that there. Talk to you for a minute while I put these other goshen lights up. Then I'm going to take those out. All right. At one time, this kind of ruby coming out of India was common. And they would cut spheres out of it. They would carve animals out of it. They would do all those things. That was decades ago. No more do you find the spheres cut out of rubies. No more do you find that type of material being used so callously. Look at what we have now. And actually, if we got rid of that light and used that one, yeah, this one will work for the moment.
You need one light, direct light.
Yeah, this is that big white one that we left on. That's messing with us. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, that's just, okay, there's one. You can see the different shades of red, how they go from a stronger red to a purplish red. Look at those stars. And nothing wrong, let me just use nature's tweezers. Look at that. Look at the stars in those. Look at the color in there. You ready? Go with yours.
Yeah. Turn yours off.
Yep, it is.
All right. Point it at the camera. Point the stone at the camera, and that's
Yep.
Just one light. And let's see if you could drop it.
Look at that purple color to those.
There you go.
Look at that. Look at those legs. And you know, these stones were cut a long time ago. They have the class. Look at that. Look at that star. And you know, a lot of things have changed, including probably not wasting so much stone on the bottom, but things are sold by carat, so that's a way to get out of one piece of rough a heavier weight, even though it doesn't affect the look of the stone. Look at that. Look at how well defined these stars are. And this entire parcel, I decided to create such a parcel so that someone else, look at that, over the years and over time will also one day sit and have a whole bunch of fun stones. Either you sell them over time, you make jewelry over time. Look at that. Look at the quality of that one, the color, everything that goes with it. And the mine that was producing, look at that one. The quantity, of course, nothing lasts forever. Same thing with everything from the Argyle mine being closed to diamond mining to the Japanese androdites no longer available. Well, you can probably end up seeing that happen, or at least to a degree, that happening with things even like this. So there's 10 stones. 10 stones. I had to, just to get it below the magic number, had to really deeply discount how I would normally do that, but there's only ever going to be one parcel. And you're looking at it. These are from the 70s. There's not going to be another parcel I'm going to do, maybe individual stones at some other point, but that isn't even very likely. If you can swing it, I am only asking $98 for this entire parcel. You're talking about a carat weight that of 32.75 carats. So almost, you know, right at $3 a carat. To look at it another way, 10 stones, $98, less than $10 a piece. To look at it another way, you have 32.75 carats with 10 stones. Guess what? That's an average of over 3 carats each, which is, again, is another plus, plus, plus on this opportunity. So there won't, only because of the amount I have, there won't be another parcel. And because if I ever did create another parcel, which I can't anyway due to quantity, and due to high grading, I actually kicked out some of the ones that I didn't think belonged in this parcel, even though at that price they were still had the value. There's just not going to be another that I'll ever be able to discount to this $3 a carat figure. Again, so if you can swing it, this is an amazing deal that will just get better and better as time goes on. Now, since we're talking about rubies, let's look at item 1157224, and I'm getting ready to rock your world because I could have tied this in back when we were doing skulls, but this needed a presentation all on its own, separate from anything else. Look at this. Look at that. Now, that is ruby inzosite. That is a skull carving. It almost looks like there's two pieces to it, right? But no, all carved out of one solid piece. And you've seen me with the pieces of rough before, where they have the beautiful hexagonal shaped crystal in the center with the ruby inzosite around it. Well, if you're willing to waste enough material, you see what can be done with it. And I've always wanted to sit and carve. I actually have saved a piece or two, so one day, I can't call it retirement because it's just a continuation of my hobby. If I ever get a chance, I would actually like to do some stone carving. And so I have saved a couple of pieces to do it. Now, to give you an idea of from the kind of material that they work with, here is just a sample piece of another piece of ruby inzosite, a slice like you see me sell. Well, that's all they did was take a big rock of this and carve it as you see here. Now, what's amazing about this?
That number again?
Oh, yes, yes, I shall. Let me get that for you. And that is item number 1167224. Okay. The cool factor to this isn't over yet, because let me show you. Look at this. It is, the wood stand has been very nicely carved to fit this carving. Now, here's the other thing. If you don't or didn't want to use this stand, look, they have carved it so the base displays it perfectly. Let's see if there's other ways. Well, he could be looking down if he didn't lead a good life. That maybe that's where he'd be headed. Get it? Beheaded? All right. So I'm not a comedian. They used to call these black spots Shermakite. It was as a type of hornblende. That was a misnomer for a long time. They have since cleaned all that up, and it is, they've realized now, technically a pargasite. So all those black dots are pargasite, Shermakite, all that difficult spelling of Shermak, nope, forget that. It's easier, pargasite. Look at that. Look at that ruby. It looks like he got shot right there. The Maasai tribes are the ones whose ground this deposit is on, and they have been not very acquiescing to anyone lately in continuing to mine this material without a bigger benefit to themselves, which I don't blame them. So there has been supply problems, and again, anything like that is only going to last so long, and they've been digging this material for quite some time. It still continues to produce stunning specimens that will carve amazing items like that. Price on this, you won't believe it. Think of a price in your head, and then think what something like that might cost. Let's say if you were to go in a high-end designer gift store. You know, I've seen them, the ones that have these different kind of things. Well, it would be, you know, you put the word ruby in it and just add zeros. Not so here. How about this? $188. And you get the wood base, the carving, the works for only $188. I think it would, when I was thinking about this, I can't remember what I paid. I had no information on it over that time because we've enjoyed it. It's just been something that we've enjoyed. And, well, now you can as well. Only $188 on that. Now, the fun keeps on coming at you. Let me show you item 116-6424. And, oh, I forgot about, yeah. Sorry, 116-6424. Let me show you. It comes in its own little box, labeled box right there, labeled Tenkawa Mine. And why I'm showing this, because it's unlike the others. This is unlike the other pieces, except for that cat. And it's a little mini cluster, but actually of some larger crystals. And look at all the different natural faces. And believe it or not, in crystallography, every single one of those different faces has a corresponding number to it that they assign, the crystallographers assign. And it's quite complicated, even though that's what I wanted it to be one day. Look at all the different colors that emanate from this piece. And again, the more you look at it, the more colors you're going to see reflected, because every different angle on the same face, depending on which way you're looking at it, will change. Look at the colors in there. I mean, and then look at the golden color. And if I move it around too quick, you don't even see them, because again, you have to kind of hold on them to really, look at that. See, the neat thing, let me get one little pointer about this, and what I was reading about it, is some of the variations in color. So as you turn this, you can actually see that line across the middle and the variation in color on the same face. This is a real beaut, and not a bank busting type of beaut. There's a lot of other beautiful angles to look at it from. So I am going to let you enjoy this, if you're lucky enough to get it at home, in a wonderful display box and at a hugely discounted price, because if you went and looked at what something like that would cost, this is only $88. Only $88 on that guy. And I have just realized about the difference in the time of the show today. So let me wrap this up momentarily because I had a couple important pieces I wanted to show. Let's get to them straight away. This is item number, everyone's gonna love this. You gotta have a zeolite, 1166224. And this has been one of our finer items. So let me just kind of move this out of the way and move that out of the way, set this down, and then show you. Look at this. Look at this. Wow. I don't know where to start. For one, this is from the Malad Quarry, the very well-known Malad Quarry from Mumbai district that is closed due to growth. So yeah, great place to start. Here are the classic calcites that are known to come from that quarry. They have that unique, unusual tannish color. Here is a stilbite spray coming from right there. Let me get my pointer. These will actually fluoresce a stronger yellow, so they have a fluorescent aspect to them. The pink, look at the pink. You wonder, is it pink helionite? What is it? No, it's pink quartz. Look at this. Here's all white quartz. You actually have a pink quartz here. Now, look down in here, and what you're going to see these blades? Those are stilbites. Look at those. You know, remember I told you how to spot them? They look kind of like a sword at the end. See that pointed sword? And look at it. So this whole area in here is dotted with stilbites. These calcites, look at how perfect this termination is on the three sides that you see. There's that fan spray of stilbites, additional stilbites here. Now, as we come down here, you can still pass by. So look at what I found down in here the other day when I was in the closet. I wouldn't have even spotted this except it picked up some fluorescence. Look at that calcite crystal hiding down in here. Look at these amazing, it looks like pink rhodochrosites. But the most amazing thing I really like are these twinned apopholites all over. And look at how they are perched on top of the quartz. So look at these. Look at these. They look like little Herkimer diamonds. They have such perfect clarity and color. Let me turn this at an angle so you can really see them across this entire area, and their terminations proudly sticking out. Look at that. Let me turn it again at this angle so you can see they are sitting on top of everything else. All right, now as we come right up around here, look at that big daddy. Look at this whole cluster of calcites. And as we come away from it just a speck, look at these. So you have these apopholites, like little diamond crystals growing on top. Here's calcite. Here's beautiful, undamaged calcites. And then look at along the side. Down here, you have beautiful apopholites, more apopholites. You have that strange cat that likes our specimens as well. Either that or it's a rare crystal of something. Look at all these. Look at all these apopholites. All right, now as we come away from the entire piece, there is multiple ways that you can display this. This is a really attractive way with showing off. Oh, I don't even think we looked at those calcites. You can, look at all the sparklies or apopholites. You have stilbite. So okay, let's count them. You have quartz. You have pink quartz. You have calcites. You have fluorescent calcites. You have stilbite. You have let me get them all. Apopholites. Then, let's see on the back, you, of course, have basalt. You have, oftentimes, there's a little thin white layer of gunneotite along the edge that you see there, and no celadonite, which is the green material you often see. This is, well, it has it all. It's a cabinet size and cabinet quality piece. Simply stunning. And to be from the Malad Quarry, That is all you need to hear, because that is extinct. It's been closed. And there are only certain type of minerals coming out of it. One of them are those calcites in that unusual type color. Look at that. All right, I have this sale priced, even though I've never shown it before. Price on this is only, wow, is it only? $248. $248 on that. So get it certainly while you can. Okay, let me just go down through here real quick also for a moment, and I'm not sure what time we got, but I want to.
2:16.
Okay, I'll be done just a minute. Okay, we're wrapping it up. You know me, I'm talking to my people. I could just go on and on and on and on because, oh, here is this. I'd have been disappointed if I didn't show this. Okay, I tell you what, we'll just call this the last item of the show. Do we do that? So much more to do. Okay, yep, let's just call it. Last item of the show. Item number 1166324. And I tell you what, I've only had one other of these. It was many years ago, and I do think I recall correctly that Miss Gabby was fortunate enough to get it. Well, I held one for her and one I kept, and it's time for me to offer it. Maybe Miss Gabby wants another, or someone else, because these are the finest I had ever seen, and don't think I'll ever see another one like it. Let me show you something that is simply museum quality. This is a faceted, I didn't even know what to name it. I called it a faceted chandelier drop. Can you imagine having this as a chandelier drop? Now, I've left the mask tape on the end because this comes to a fine faceted point right there. So I'm just going to leave that there. Now, as Latif brings us in closer on this, I'm going to show you, if someone says, well, oh, by the way, if this was glass, by the way, there would always, of course, be bubbles, which there is not, and there also be the wavy look when glass is blown or shaped. So you know it's not glass. The other thing you know, I like it when I see inclusions in my quartz. That tells me it is genuine quartz, not a lab quartz, not a glass, not anything else. Look at that. This is what they consider rock crystal. Rock crystal, by the definition of it, means just a finer, higher quality grade quartz. I don't even know how they would fasten that. Would you, Latif? I mean, look at that, these long facets. This is extremely clean. Those of you with an imagination would know exactly what to do with this. I like Miss Gabby, she would know. And I can't remember what the price on the other one was. I am offering this one, I know, at a super discounted opportunity because there's just no others available. And for one thing, and I just want to go to the right home. $188. $188. That is bargain of the century. And just since I thought about it, let me look at Asif one last item for Miss Gabby. 111-85-23, I believe that says. Does it say Jade? Miss Gabby, she got, of course, the toilet paper holder that we had so much fun for. She also got the two of the Jade clothes hanger racks. So I thought the last and only one I have with her clever husband, John, How about in that bathroom putting in a switch plate that is normally the type switch plate used in Europe, or here in the United States, it's the type switch plate used on the dimmer switches. So they still use these, which you can still get the dimmer switches and replace them. And look at the thing that's amazing to me is the quality of this piece of nephrite. For this piece of nephrite to have so few other inclusions or visible, look at that, look at that. And in talking to my jade suppliers, they said very little has been coming out. The native people have been making it really difficult to mine, and they hope to do some mining in the upcoming season. That switch plate, it is specially priced at only, let's do this, $48. $48. I think my cost is greater than that. All right, unfortunately, my time has run out. I'll be right back with trivia. Well, that went by too quick, but I'm sure you're feeling the same. We have another shoot to do after my show, so excuse the abrupt ending. I just didn't realize how quickly time got away, and you know, I can just go on and on. I wish if we talked about the 6 continents I've traveled to, if I just picked any one continent and focused on just what I did on that continent regarding the rocks and minerals, even if it was a casual stroll to a mine, you would love to hear the experiences. The Bahamas, the time I was just on a cruise ship, stopped off at one of these private islands that one of these big cruise ships uses for its playground. Well, I didn't want to be with everybody else, so I just wandered off on just a little shell trail. Off the side of that shell trail, I spotted, and of course you gotta look for these things, a little dark hole off in the brush. And it looked just kind of odd. I walked off to that dark hole. I peeked down in the dark hole. It wasn't very big. The next thing I knew, I mean, it was probably maybe 4 or 5 feet deep, maybe 3 feet high. You could crawl back in there. Next thing I knew, I was pulling out calcite crystals. Because remember, calcite is a low temperature formation. A crystal, so it can crystallize without volcanoes, without geothermal heat, without all these other conditions that so many other crystals need to grow and thrive. Not calcite. And little did I know on a trip that I didn't think I was going to be able to get any rock counting in, there it was. On a another trip, well, I'll fill you in on that later, but it was a really amazing just how and where you can find items related to our passion. And so, again, the Bahamas being another example, we went to this other little island, and there were, of course, these the locals selling their little wares, and I got to thinking, because I saw right out of the dock where someone was cutting conch out of the conch shells, and I'm thinking, I wonder, that many conch. And I knew they had to be familiar with conch pearls. Let me ask around. And it was so much fun. I asked around, and I found a lady that did. She had 2 conch pearls. And I bought them on site. They weren't expensive, but they were real. It was, I saw exactly the waters they came from. I dealt with a lady whose husband dove for the conchs and who found them. And I think the 2 of them might have cost me $50 or $75 or something after, negotiating, of course. But it was some of the best $50 or $75 I've ever made a purchase on something like that, because I was there. It was real. So 2 experiences in a place you would not think that there was a geological occurrence, but there may be gem occurrences. And one of them was the conch pearls, definitely a gem. And the other, calcite crystals. So that wasn't even one of the continents I was talking about. That was just another island. Jamaica. Did you know Jamaica exports bauxite? Bauxite, aluminum ore. Another story for you. Anyway, let's get to those trivia questions, and then I must clean up. Question number 1. What is unique? This is weird. Because I was just talking about calcite, wasn't I? What is unique about the calcites from the Malad quarry in the Mumbai district of India? So, what is the characteristic about those particular calcites that makes them a little different than calcites found from other localities? So that's just worded a little bit differently, just so that you know exactly what I'm looking for. So what is unique about the calcites from the Malad quarry? Number 2, name 4 minerals that were on the inside of the zeolite cluster. So, yeah, it's easy to flash that so you know which one. That one. Name 4 different minerals on the inside. So we're not talking about basalt, and we're not talking about gunneotite. All right, because that's underneath. And there was no selenite. Name 4 that are there, that were discussed. Okay, so grab the deals while you can. Again, even going back to something as cool as these. I've kept these for forever. It's time to share them, but the price I'm sharing them for, of course, is way below the market on them. Oh, let's see. I meant to show you on these. It is actually marked on every one with the patent mark and Frank Whiting and sterling silver. It's marked on each one of those. They're yucking it up too much for me to stay focused. Kiddie bowl. What am I going to do with them? They're a mess. Okay. You guys, happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'll miss it by a day wishing you, but yeah, hope you enjoy the day. And I remember there was a time, a long time ago, when I drank beer, that my son's mom would always have to go out and have a green beer. Yes, they just squeeze food coloring in it, but a green beer was her thing. And so don't have that to do or celebrate in that way anymore. But being Irish with the name of Shawn and a son with a very Irish name in it as well, even though he's a little watered down on the Irish end, I'm a 4th Irish, and having that and a name to fit. So St. Patty's Day. I hope you all have a wonderful one. Now, to pick up all these things, and my problem with picking them up, I have to look at them all over again. Oh yeah, you know, when you have your tools and equipment right here next to you, pick them up, look at it, see something different, examine. It can be a long process, longer than it should be. Luckily, I have the Raven, who is, and of course, who does all the shows for, Sam is the product coordinator and whatnot. That girl can pack up a show like nobody's business, including rocks and minerals. So I think it's time to call her in from next door, don't you think? God bless all of you. Thank you so much for your continued support. I saw some of my sales numbers, and I really needed them. This bothers me all the time. I'm self-conscious about it. I know I need to figure out the teeth thing, so hopefully you guys will help me out with that, and hopefully you'll also take advantage of it and put some amazing items right in your home to be enjoyed and treasured and appreciated, like I and Raven have with our collections. So I'd be amiss to wrap it up without telling all of you a big hearty I love you and thank you for all of your support. See you next week.